What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Bloody Sleeves Like Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way, you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. It was nice to have producer Alicia along for the ride last week, but we got producer Jacob back here. He had a great time. He's well refreshed, and he's excited to be here, right, Jacob? Don't answer that. Anyway, we're very excited to get you back here after a great NFL Sunday morning. I got a little shaky, the Bijan Robinson prop, but I mean, Nakua? The same. Nakua, Matata, Nakua, Matata. How about that call from the stratosphere, everybody? That felt good. Throwing that all together for you. Hopefully you put those two together. Nice little deal. There was some positive line movement in our direction. I didn't see 10 and 100 coming, but, you know, I'll take it. And then also just the absolute smash. Ended up on Eagles for a full unit. They covered by this 3.5, 4. Both of them covered. Very happy for everybody jumping on that in the premium Discord, which you can check out down below. Monday Night Football. 15 games, 28 teams playing here. A doubleheader, in fact. Lots going down in the MLB streets as well. If you want to know what I'm firing up across the board, you can see exactly what those bets are coming through. So going to talk you through that in the Discord. You can sign up for that below. Of course, we'll talk about Caesars Sportsbook a little bit later, but nice to be here in the refreshed office. You know, it's starting to... Those are some old golf clubs and shit. Anyway, producer Jacob's back. I'm excited. I just want to start talking some MLB. It's been a couple days. Feels like it's been forever. No singing. No singing. Especially Frozen, no singing. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. We begin our boarding block in Philadelphia with a doubleheader, and oh boy, we got, Charlie Morton, Taijuan Walker. They're going to be starting game one. Let's talk through them both. Over the course of this season, Charlie Morton, pretty decent stuff in terms of strikeouts, 25.5%, and then, well, he gets a Philadelphia team that actually just smashes righties. We know that by now. There's a couple of lefties, and that you kind of got to be worried about. By the way, if you look at Kyle Schwarber's numbers, who's now well over 40 home runs now for the season and is just ridiculous, he's having the worst defensive year I've maybe ever seen to not be over a win above replacement at the moment. That's pretty wild when you think about it. Let's just DH the man forever and ever. Amen. How about that? Don't make him play left field. Remember back in the day when you couldn't catch fly balls? Those were enjoyable. Also, Wrigley, get weird wind dimensions. Probably didn't help the old confidence. Anyhow, Charlie Morton, I feel pretty confident he's the better side here between him and Taijuan Walker, although there have been stretches of times where I thought Taijuan Walker wasn't so bad. And then I remember this, sub 20% walk rate, 10% walk rate, 20% K rate, 40.3% hard hit percentage. Other than the barrels, there's not a whole lot that you need to be backing Taijuan Walker for. And the Braves lineup, leading the league in home runs and power and overall just ridiculousness. Acuna, 30-60 season. That seems good. He could probably go 40-80 at this pace to finish it out. But anywho, feeling pretty good about the early game here, considering some of these numbers. Minus 140 on the money line here for Charlie Morton. I'm going to click on that just about every time, mainly because of the Braves lineup behind him. He's got to avoid some of those problems that he's going to run into for lefties, but you could probably say that for any right-handed pitcher facing Philly ever. So let's bet this. Cool. Game one, we're going to be firing up Charlie Morton and these Braves. Going to game two, of course, though, that's, different conversation, and it's going to just require a little bit of a lean here before we get going. Anything else? I think Kyle Wright is going to be getting activated here off the IL. If that ends up being the case, it's going to be an interesting backing of that guy, but got to kind of wait on that news. That's important. And Michael Lorenzen on the other side, I think you know by now that he's not my favorite backing, even though, hey, he has a no-hitter on his resume this year. Whoa. Cool. Remember when Philly made him pitch a bajillion pitches and then he hasn't been good since then? Maybe don't have him pitch a bajillion pitches if you're trying to win a World Series and have the guy who's shown improvement, sub 4 ERA, 1.17 whip, things across the board have been better for him. Well, until you had the no-hitter, and now since then, 6 earned, 4 earned, 3 earned, 6 earned. That's why you don't let guys throw no-hitters if you're at 120 pitches this day and age. Just don't do it. I know, that's like a new age take. Boomers would come down and burn this stream to the ground, but you know what? They're not watching, so it doesn't matter. Cool, huh? Atlanta Braves -1.5, -1 money line. Got some interesting choices here in this second game. I got a couple of different things, and I'm going to talk through a couple of numbers later here, but I think the run line, mainly because Kyle Wright, it's going to probably turn into more of a bullpen game here. They're going to need some length in that first one, of course, from Mr. Charlie Morton to make it work. All right, our Baltimore Orioles. Yes, this program, there are Baltimore Orioles here at this point in time. Taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, and Dakota Hudson is flat out bad. And we already know that, right? Yeah. All things from Dakota are terrible, right? I'm from South Dakota, for those who don't know, so that was a condescending joke to myself. But we've got ourselves an interesting spot because there's lots of lefties. You want to be backing from that Orioles side against Dakota Hudson. We'll talk about him in a second. And then Dean Kramer on the other side. God, it's a tough ask here. 344 xWOBA, but 270 expected batting average. If this were on the road in St. Louis, we'd be getting a lot better number, and I would just be jamming it because the Orioles have just been rock steady on the road all season long here. In Camden, we're Camden Yards presented by Orioles Park, presented by, I can't even keep track of these things anymore. I hate the man. But check out Caesar Sportsbook. They're fantastic. On the other side, yeah, Dakota Hudson, he's been giving up some hard contact, 44.4% hard hit percentage, and then an 8.1% barrel percentage. Isn't that atrocious? This is where it gets fun. 13.4% K rate. Not ideal, right? Pretty sure that's not ideal. There are some massive lefty bats, specifically one in Gunnar Henderson, and he's only striking them out at an 11.6% K rate, and then a 212 expected ISO compared to a 155 ISO. Negative regression is coming. He's going to get murdered eventually. Why not here? And that, kind of looking at all of the lefties here, I want to look at switch hitting Santander. I want to be looking at, of course, Adley Rutschman at the top of this lineup, and then Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson, if you're getting better than plus 320 here in his home park, you are just slamming it here. Slam your body down and wind it all around. If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. Make Corbin pitch forever. Runs will never end. See, it just happens. I was so professional in the NFL video, too. Appreciate you guys checking it out. First day of talking a sport. You know what? This is the 498th day of me talking baseball. I'm going to do what I want, okay? No, I'm not. I'm going to actually follow rules and talk about sports. Patrick Corbin has not been good this season. I don't think you need to be told that by anyone. And there's a TBA, TBD, to be determined, above my head. Always means you don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be Mr. Jackson. Woo! He's not for real. Oh my goodness. Let's just go through it. Patrick Corbin first, 378 xWOBA, 522 expected slugging, and just a 15.8% K rate. You just saw what he's capable of doing, and what he's capable of doing is getting absolutely moonshot like he has the last two. Mets, 8 earned. Just 3 homers. It hurts my head to look at these numbers. Toronto, 10 hits, 6 earned. Let's get Patrick Corbin out of here. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, Andre Jackson is who I expect to be starting based on the timeline of things. And, well, it could be like Memento, or it could be like, Inception. Timelines are just a little skewed for me right now. Up at 4 a.m. so I could serve the people in the NFL streets as best as I could. I think I won like $240, so whoop-de-frickin-do, Basil. What does it all mean? It all evened out in the... should have been a smash. I needed a Jalen Waddle touchdown really, really, really badly. I'm done bitching about football. It was still profitable, so we'll live. Just wanted it to be way more profitable. Anyway, Patrick Corbin, we're looking at it. He's the guy you're mainly going to be targeting here. But Andre Jackson's not good either. 45.2% hard hit percentage, 352 xWOBA, 483 expected slugging. Has that 23% K rate, but that doesn't really matter because the Washington Nationals don't strike out at all. In fact, they continue to just do miraculous things at avoiding the strikeouts, especially against right-handed pitching, where they are best in baseball. Well, actually, they're tied up there with Cleveland. Cleveland's like 0.1% better, so I lied. They're second. I'm a liar. Not lying when I say I have a ton of interest on this over, even in PNC Park that suppresses runs here. Lots of power on, well, neither of these teams, but lots of power given up by these pitchers. It was an unreal timing. I wish I had something funny to say, but my brain is off, and now so is my alarm. We're going over Infinity runs. Give me a total because I want the over, please and thank you. That's what it says. Good job, producer Jacob. You're back. You're back, baby. Dun, 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 dunning. We got Dane Dunning taking on Chris Bassett here. Rangers and Blue Jays. And you want to talk about splits? Well, Chris Bassett, he's like the epitome of them against righties on the season. Mr. Chris Bassett just been mowing dudes down. Been crazy. Not mowing him down, striking him out, 19.7%, but only a 102 ISO against. 102 ISO is going to keep the ball in the park. 132 expected ISO, but obviously he's facing a lot more lefties. 24.2% K rate. That's pretty decent, but my God. 250 ISO against? 250 ISO against. My God. It's insane. Also insane, yeah, I'm watching the football game. You saw the thing, Jacob? Saw the thing? Saw the thing? First touchdown is a return of a blocked field goal. Didn't have that one on the bingo card today. Didn't have that one on the bingo card, but we continue on our merry way over to the Dane Dunning side of things, and Dunning. He's facing Toronto. Not an ideal spot for a guy with a 17.3% K rate against lefties, 20.2% K rate against righties, but he suppresses power to a certain extent against lefties. I'm okay with it, like not horrific. And then against righties, 173 expected ISO. It's up there a little bit, and he's going to face the Vlads and Bo Bichette's off the injured list. Again, I didn't look at baseball Saturday or Sunday other than I bet two things. One for a unit, one for a half unit. I don't even know how they did. I know that Philly lost, so that one, I guess, half unit down. Cincinnati, did they win by 1.5? Yes, they did. Cool. So we won a bet. We won the unit bet. Fine. What are we going to do here, friends? I think we're going to just look at a home run. How about Corey Seager locked and loaded here going up against Mr. Chris Bassett? Those splits are just too wide to not be noticed, but Corey Seager props have really disintegrated into the abyss. So this has to be better than plus 260, and there's actually a chance that it isn't. So I apologize. Again, if you want to know if I end up firing it up or not, hit me up on Twitter/X at Eric Lindquist. Happy to let you know what I end up doing in this game. I am definitely going to be doing something in this game. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks heading in to take on the Mets. M-E-T-S, Mets. And I know the Jets are playing tomorrow, so that was kind of a joke for the Monday night thing. But I hope Aaron Rodgers he is insufferable. I hope. I'm a Vikings fan, if you didn't know, too. Everything is awful in my life. I'm broken. Baker Mayfield. Baker fucking Mayfield. Baker. I'm done. It's Zach Davies. It's Jose Quintana. Zach Davies, not very good. Jose Quintana giving up contact. Arizona, they're playing for stuff. I just want the over of 9. I don't want to talk anymore about this game. Just take it. Half unit. I like it. It shouldn't surprise you. Zach Davies is Zach Davies. Jose Quintana's been okay, but no. How about that for analysis? Literally the worst analysis of my game. That's what the Vikings do to me. They ruin my life. They make me incapable of doing my job from time to time. They make me go on these rants. I can't be around my family. I don't even want to talk to you right now, but I do because I care about you, I guess. And Jordan Addison looked good. That's okay. As Animal would say in the Muppets movie, in control. We've got the Yankees. We got the Red Sox. Not in control of, see what I did there? Not in control. Pitchers that aren't these two because they're very much in control of things. Clark Schmidt, 6.2% walk rate. Cutter Crawford, 6.8% walk rate. There, found my segue out of it. Just envisioning somebody on a segue too. What a weird thing my brain does from time to time. But a 311 xWOBA for Schmidt. Cutter Crawford on the other side, 296 xWOBA. Looking at both of these sides, it's the bleak midwinter if you're a Yankee fan. And it got a little bit worse. Jason Dominguez, who's been just smashing the baseball. Smashing. Hit a home run prop on him on Friday. Felt good. Yay, rejoice. Tore his UCL. Now, does he just play through it, or is this a Shohei Ohtani situation? It could be. It could be. It could also just be the apocalypse for Yankees fans, as if you already didn't feel that way about your season. I think you already felt that way about your season. But we got Clark Schmidt on the mound. I think you got too many lefties. You got too many lefties here in this Boston Red Sox deal. Too many cooks, too many cooks in the kitchen. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Others are confused, probably the way that I feel about myself every single day. Why am I the way that I am? Again, the Vikings really trying to ruin my life. But here's the thing. Clark Schmidt's been awesome against righties. 144 expected ISO, 26.1% K rate. That thing goes sub 20% with a 202 ISO against lefties. A lot of lefties. And then the righties actually have crazy power too. That's the thing that I think goes a little bit underappreciated here. You get like your Justin Turners, you get your Adam Duvals, you get your, well, Trevor Story's been apocalyptic to a certain extent. 217 expected batting average, but 46.8% hard hit percentage. He can hit a moon ball or two. And again, the Dominguez thing, it's a kick in the nards if you're the old Yankees, that's for sure. You felt that? Doesn't feel good. Well, let's take advantage of the misfortune, shall we? We're heading to the Red Sox side here. Kind of undersold this one a little bit. It is your lock of the day, your only lock that you're going to be firing up here. Clark Schmidt, huge lefty splits. Looking at a lineup that lost, well, Aaron Judge is the best hitter, obviously, but like Dominguez has been a freak. 56.5% hard hit percentage, 529 expected slugging. Remove that. Is she gone, possibly? I don't know. All I know is that's just a weird injury that maybe he's not in the lineup here. I would imagine not in the lineup. We'll see. But Cutter Crawford ready to back him and these lefties on the Boston side. Fight the battle of who could care less, the Kansas City Royals, the Chicago White Sox, and I will say, Kansas City, we've enjoyed their presence over the course of the last month. You have, I have, we all have. We've been profitable on them. We've hit a couple of home run props. And Sweet Melendez, it's always a fun bit. Except for like Sweet Velasquez also works. Nelson Velasquez, love you. 48.7% hard hit percentage, except for on Friday, 2 out of 3 on the home run department, and the only one he missed was Nelson. What are we doing here, Nelson? That's a stupid thing to complain about a bet that doesn't hit that's plus 525. It's going to not hit a majority of the time, but the goal is to make money. That's what we're here to do. Make money. Kansas City Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox. How about 2 TBD? Yeah, you know me. I'm down with TBD, even though I know who it's going to be. See? It's going to be Dylan Cease. Oh, it almost got there. Brian Singer. That ruins the rhyme game. But Brian Singer hasn't been as bad for him of late. He's actually dropped his ERA down to a 5.34 on the season in the second half of the season. But it's been a very bad last 2 weeks for him, if we're going to be honest, because the sheet, I have this little graph, and now it goes, because 6 earned runs against the White Sox, not good. 4 against Seattle, not good. 4 against the Cubs, not good. 2 and 3, and, well, he hasn't had a scoreless outing now since the beginning of August. It's been over a month. Not ideal. Not that you have to be scoreless the entire time, but like giving up 6 last time out, bro. Back to back, not AAU national championships. Frank Kaminsky, no. You're too young, Jacob. You don't know shit. Dylan Cease on the other side, my friend. Dylan Cease. He will cease to exist at the end of September because the White Sox aren't going anywhere. But hey, you might as well just go down swinging or throwing in this case, I suppose. He's got good stuff overall, but yeah. Are we really going to go out of our way to back Dylan Cease? 42.2% hard hit percentage. Yes, the 26.6% K rate's nifty, but 10.6% walk rate. We're reaching the point. Say words, Eric. We're reaching the point in the season we're going to see pitchers of the quality of Dylan Cease, of Kadai Senga, these guys who are on teams that are going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere because they're bad boys for life, or, they're on a losing baseball team. They're going to get reduced workloads. You're going to see 100 pitches get reduced down to 90. You're going to see, 110. Well, nobody's pitching 110 here recently, except for Michael Lorenzen goes for over 120 on a contender, and now he's bad. Good job, guys. Good job. Just had to bring that one back. You guys got anything here? I don't. Kansas City money line. Well, maybe back our team. They're not the Baltimore Orioles. That's our team. But Kansas City, I don't know. You let me know. I don't know. I do know about this, friends. Bet $50. Get yourself $250 when you sign up at the link below. Super simple, super easy, super efficient. Here's how it works. You simply go to that link, click on it. You deposit $50. You play $50 over there, and then you're going to get yourself 5 $50 bonus bets. Now, you're going to get one in your account instantly, but it's also Monday. You're going to get another one in your account because every Monday for the next 4 weeks, you will get yourself a $50 bonus bet. So it's incrementally giving you out. So fire it up in the NFL streets every single night for Monday Night Football, or in the baseball streets, or I don't care. Bet on Highlight. Give yourself an opportunity, my friends, to make money over at Caesar Sportsbook, because 5 $50 bets that you just place on things randomly at -110, that has positive expected value when you get 5 opportunities as bonus bets to pull the trigger on them. Does that make sense? Good, great, grand. No yelling on the bus. Let's get ourselves on out of here, friends. Sign up at Caesar Sportsbook below. Get exposure to all the sportsbooks wherever you can. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER already. Back to the picks. I think some of that overall summertime sadness that the Vikings have me in here on this lovely little Sunday of sadness and broken dreams, I think they've figured out. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better. I should have accepted the losing here by now. Well, these two teams are not going to accept losing here because they need to keep rocking out here. They're pretty good baseball teams. The Miami Marlins, the Milwaukee Brewers here. And I got to say, it is wild to see a 7.5 total in Milwaukee, but makes sense when it's these two pitchers. Because Jesus Luzardo, not only is he just racking up strikeouts now at a resounding clip, but he's starting to piece together really, really nice outings. And he's probably the pitcher that I broke down the most leading into this lovely little day. Didn't end up pulling the trigger on it, but I want you to know how much interest I have here on this under as a result of some of the research. Again, you got to put in the work anyway. Jesus Luzardo, 28.2% K rate. We like that. 40.9% hard hit percentage. Not exactly ideal, but a 233 expected batting average, a 306 xWOBA. The main thing you got to worry about with him, the southpaw, is that you got a Milwaukee team that, well, they're going to strike out against him, 24.7% clip, 94 WRC plus, but you get by like 2 or 3 batters. There's not a lot of resistance in this lineup. They are completely predicated on what they do with like a William Contreras, a Christian Yelich, and then anything else is roses. Anything else is just fine. Figure out something there. So gotta say, it's a pretty good situation to be a pitcher going into Milwaukee, just knowing that that's the lineup, even though, you know, roof closed, ballpark, not the best that you could possibly going into, especially when you pitch all of your games in Miami. But Milwaukee, on the other side, Brandon Woodruff, just really good stuff all season long. A 261 xWOBA, a 192 expected batting average, and a 321 expected slugging with a 31.3% K rate. As he has continued to get built up, he's continued to mow dudes down. I love the stuff. I like the way that it all sets up here in this spot. 4-seamer, sinker, change. You need that change against a couple of these lefties just to kind of neutralize them. Yes, Miami has an upgraded lineup with the Josh Bell playing really good baseball. Jesus Sanchez, Brian De La Cruz. Feeling pretty good about Miami's lineup come playoff time if they're getting the pitching quality from all of these guys front to back here, especially Luzardo, but Yuri Perez as well. You know, they kind of had a Cy Young guy, but Sandy Alcantara, kind of sad that he's on the IL, isn't it? 15-day injured list, right forearm contusion. Sounds bad, but I'm not the futures guy. I'm not firing up anything here on a futures for either one. It's just like Philadelphia, though. When the series shows up, we can maybe ride them to the promised land come playoff time, which is coming sooner rather than later. Let's get there. And also thank God for the NFL right now. We've got ourselves an under of 7.5 lean. Yes, a lot of talking about a play that I don't even have bet yet, but it's probably the one I have the most interest on that has a lean attached to it. My Minnesota Twins trying to get respect back to our state, even though it's not my state. South Dakota's my state. And then I went to school at Iowa State. So this is like the one state I should technically not be attached to. Both my parents are from there. I was at the World Series when I was 1 month old. Headphones, the whole thing. Frank Viola. Let's go. 87 world champions. No big deal. Not feeling good about him here. Tyler Glass now on the mound against Sonny Gray, and starting on the Sony side, mainly because he's good, but Tampa Bay's good, and this is just a weird spot in general. Target field, pretty good, playing up for hitting here so far this season, but at the same time, Sonny Gray's been awesome, and our starting pitching's been awesome, and you're looking at Tampa Bay with a 117 WRC plus against righties. That's not ideal. So there's a lot of contradictory info. Plugging in the numbers, though, I mean, Tampa Bay being the favorite, thought about maybe taking a shot on the Minnesota money line. And then I dug into Tyler Glass now a little bit more than normal. I was kind of like haphazardly doing it because I was watching football. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I should be paying freaking attention here because I didn't know he had 14 strikeouts against Boston last week. Did you know that? I didn't know, but it grabs your attention in a box score. 14, 6, 4, 7, 7. 14 against Boston is a massive, massive number. And you go through the numbers and that shouldn't be the case. Boston only strikes out at a 21.2% clip against righties, a 103 WRC plus. So it's the best pitching performance by him all season long and probably by most people all season long. Nice to see him up to 103 pitches too. They've been mitigating his workload, late 80s, early 90s pitch counts pretty routinely. So if you got it going, they'll let him go, but can he just find that stuff and bottle it? Because you've got the best strikeout matchup in all of baseball right here. A 27.4% K rate do the Minnesota Twins have against righties. It is nearly 2% higher than that of the Seattle Mariners, which is a wild, wild discrepancy. So Tyler Glass now up to 9 Ks. Wild to say that out loud. I think the break-even point on, I think this number could open up at 8.5, and I lean towards the over. So want to see that. That would be standard juice. I would be okay with a small play on that, attaching it to a money line of some kind across the industry. Like one of my other plays. Don't make it the Rays and Twins, because again, thought actually about the Twins side that grades out better, but both of these are losing bets. So legitimately, Tyler Glass now up to 9 Ks. I think it's going to be the best thing you find here in this game. 5 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we get ourselves to Oakland and Houston. And these are the wonky spots, I think, on this slate. We got some numbers here, and we've got some interesting pitching. We've got on the mound, Framber Valdez, kind of a down year for the Houston Astro ace, even though he's got a no-hitter attached to him too. What is it about some of this weird stuff going on? He's got a 3.30 ERA, 1.11 whip. It's just that he's been running better than he's pitched, and I'll get some of that in a second. But on the Oakland side of things, we are going to be looking at kind of a couple of different pitchers. You're going to get an opener of Mason Miller. I don't think he's going to pitch all that far into it. He pitched on the 6th. He got back 27 pitches. He had an elbow sprain, was out for 4 months? His last start was May 7th. 98 pitches there, but 27 pitches in his first time back. I don't expect him to be somebody who's going to go too long here, because if he did, I would have a ton of interest in the Oakland side of these kind of numbers. But of course, it's our good friend Ken Waldichuk, who's expected to be the long reliever. How much wood could a Waldichuk chuck if a Waldichuk could chuck wood? See, I'm not even enthusiastic about that. I have no lust for life when Minnesota loses to Baker Mayfield. Anyway, Framber Valdez on the other side of this game, my friends. I'm pretty positive that he's been running better than his numbers would indicate. Mainly a 45.3% hard hit percentage. He has a 404 expected slugging, 251 expected batting average, and 55.6% ground ball rate. Sounds fantastic. That's up nearly 10%. Sorry, it's down 10% from last season. He had just ridiculous numbers across the board over the course of 2022, and that was mainly predicated on him inducing ground balls nearly 2/3 of the time. That's not a joke. It sounds like it's a joke, but it's not a joke. 67.4% ground ball rate. Unheard of. More than 10%. So anywho, I'm looking at this pitch mix. I'm looking at the ground ball rate. It's still elite, but it's not the superpower of late. I mean, there's guys with better ground ball rates across the board now too, which just never was the case. But in the battle of the Southpaws, primarily going to be Waldichuk going up against Valdez. Of course, I'm going to be looking at the Houston side of things. Outside of Oakland, that's the other part of this. Outside of Oakland, The guy is just going to get completely obliterated over the course of this season. A little bit of splits. Home games, 1.47 whip, 3.97 ERA. Been pretty good because it's a pitcher's park. Do you want to know what our friend Ken Waldachuk is on the road? 1.80 whip, 7.11 ERA. That's bad. Houston's pretty good. I'm looking at -2.5 as more likely the profitable side of things. You got to see how these numbers break down, but you might as well just go towards the more aggressive number than lay -165, -170. Like I'm expecting is going to show up. Again, it's like $1.25. I think is probably going to be the transition between the two. You don't get the 9th inning, 8th inning guarantee. So like, just saying, there's a little bit of that baked in here as well. But I want to see where this run line comes down. Something tells me, though, the 2.5 is going to be better. This is a spot that I'm very interested in as well. If we get confirmation Ken Waldachuk going to be piggybacking off of Miller, hit me up on Twitter or X or the premium Discord. I'm definitely going to be looking at this play more in depth tomorrow. Wouldn't you know it? Very similar to the last spot. I have a ton of interest in this baseball game too, but I kind of need to get the numbers. Those are kind of important. We got Mr. Wicks taking on Kyle Freeland here and the Colorado Rockies. Colorado Rockies are not good. They're not going anywhere. They're going home. I guess they are home, so they could just stay there. That makes sense. But how about this fellow here for the Chicago Cubs? He ended up playing in that crazy wind game the other day. San Francisco, they had like a 10.5, 11 total, and he goes out and just mows dudes down. It was pretty impressive stuff. I don't think it continues like at this rate. 2.16 ERA, 1.20 whip. I don't think you expect that either, but he has that superpower. He can pitch to the ground ball. 15 ground balls in that outing against San Francisco. Again, I did not see that in the old repertoire, coming off of 8 fly balls to 4 ground balls that he had against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. That's why I liked the over of 10.5 in that game. And of course, it finishes 8-2 because we couldn't have nice things on certain spots. Had a profitable week last week. Monday, awesome. Tuesday, Wednesday, beginning of Wednesday was bleak, and then we recovered. Thursday was okay. Friday, smash. Do we feel good about that? Thursday night football was terrible. Thursday night football was absolutely atrocious. Actually, Thursday was atrocious in general. Good recap. Glad we had it. But anyway, Mr. Weeks, I'm pretty positive we are definitely going to be backing this guy here in Colorado against this lineup if we get the price is right. And it's mainly because of Kyle Freeland that I want to be firing this one up. The Southpaw, he's been somehow better at home, but this is just not something you should be expecting at Coors Field routinely. A 359 xWOBA, 502 expected slugging, and only a 14.2% ground ball, 14.2% K rate. If you're not going to be missing bats against the Cubs, they're going to hit the ball long and far. Christopher Morel, Saya Suzuki, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson. Also, very sad to know. I think I said this the last time he pitched, but the guy who does the Mr. Wicks thing, he passed away recently. It's unbelievable. He had the dog in the hotel room. I love John Wick 1, 2, 3. 1, absolute fire. 3, absolute fire. 2, it depends. But Boban Marjanovic just fighting somebody in an intro, you got to get behind that. Just like you got to get behind the money line or the -1.5 here on the Cubs side. Again, just like the last game, I have a ton of interest here at the numbers that I expect the books to be firing here. I don't even want to give you the theoretical break evens here. They're actually just... Do you want me to? I mean, I want plus money for the Cubs side of things. But again, it's Coors Field where because of the extra run, you're going to see a massive implied total here on the Cubs side. Better than 6.5. I think that creates an opportunity. Oh my God. Did Dallas just score another defensive touchdown? Holy mother of God. Chicago money line -1.5. Just pay attention to that. Just like I'm paying attention to this. You know what? Screw it. We're going to upgrade it. Producer Jacob will fire up the graphic. He knows what to do. We're going to change this. I'm calling an audible. We got Reed Detmers. We've got Logan Gilbert here. And I'm going to fire this one to the moon. Just like you should fire the GM of the Angels to the moon as well. Go and get a bunch of cast-offs and then try to make it work. And then you can't make it work. And then you're putting guys on waivers. And Shohei Ohtani's probably not going to come back. I'd be very surprised if he came back. I wouldn't be excited if I was Shohei Ohtani, but he hasn't been in the lineup now since the 3rd of September. It's been a week. He's just been like day to day. They scratch him. They say, he might come back here. Dude's just sitting there without a UCL, torn UCL, and now you're not even going to put him in lineups to go make us happy. He's hitting 304 with 44 homers. Would love to see him hit over 50 here this year again. Like, come on. But also, you should probably put him on bubble wrap and put him on ice because the season is toasty toast. Reed Detmer's here. He's going to be going against Logan Gilbert. And I think that that's kind of the main takeaway I have is if Shohei Ohtani doesn't play this baseball game, this line is absurd. This run line is absurd. How do the Los Angeles Angels, without Ohtani, without Trout, create runs in Seattle against Logan Gilbert? Because Logan Gilbert's issue has been hard contact, 44.6% hard hit percentage. But this is a ballpark that plays the most difficult for hitters in all of baseball, the best for pitchers. And Logan Gilbert, it's playing closer to neutral for the home runs, but a 299 xWOBA, 4.5% walk rate, 25.4% K rate, and also a barrel rate only applies if the other hitters have a proclivity of finding the barrel, which they just obviously do not. Logan O'Hap, 491 expected slugging. That would be your next highest expected slugging in the lineup if Shohei Ohtani is out. Mickey Moniak there at 448. That's not exactly nothing. Brandon Drury, 432. He's looking all right at the plate. Been watching a couple of Angels games recently. Don't ask me why. It's just like on in the background, and it's usually later at night. And sometimes I just refuse to watch Giants games because they take forever. Bring in the lefty, bring in the righty. Also, Gabe Kapler, just overall annoying because then, nothing like betting home run props on guys who get pinch hit for. That's why I don't do it. I haven't done that this year. I learned my lesson. Also, Jock Peterson hasn't been nearly as good, so that helps. But either way, I want to be locking this one to the moon because I'm looking at the Seattle Mariners side. Just such a better lineup here. And going up against Reed Detmers, a 256 expected batting average, 330 xWOBA. Yes, the 25.8% K rate is a little bit worrisome because, we're going to be backing the Seattle side. And the Seattle team definitely is going to strike out at a decent clip here against Southpaws on the season. Sitting up in that upper echelon, what's the exact number? There it is, 26.6% K rate, tied for the highest in baseball. But unlike Colorado, that has a 66 WRC plus that they're tied for, see why I have interest in the Cubs. Seattle, a 109 WRC plus. They crush a lot. They crush a lot. Seattle -1.5. Let's make that a lock, baby. Producer Jacob's got it on fleek because, again, he's a pro. He's a pro. The Cleveland Guardians of the Galaxy taking on the San Francisco Giants. Hey, just don't really like San Francisco. The main thing is that they're like playing right now and they keep hitting home runs. Mitch Haniger just went yard and lots of things. Yeah, I've got a baseball and a football game on my iPad. What is she going to do about it? Mainly because I don't really know what there is to talk about here. We've got mainly Alex Cobb. I think Alex Cobb coming off of day-to-day. He said he was going to return here in this spot, but it is still to be announced here. Hasn't pitched since the 3rd, so it'd be a full week that he's had between starts. He's a decent enough pitcher here, but the main thing to talk about is, of course, the presence of Gavin Williams, my guy, Mr. Fastball Extraordinaire, throwing it at a crazy high clip. Love it. You know that by now. You probably see his name. You probably know where I'm getting at with this one. Cleveland money line coming off of San Francisco playing on Sunday night. Not really getting any rest. That doesn't matter. I don't give a shit about any of that. I care about Gavin Williams being able to succeed in a ballpark tailor-made for pitching. And then Alex Cobb, not exactly sure what to expect out of him. Can't imagine you're going to get a full workload right out of the gate. He had 58 pitches in that start on the 3rd, coming off of 131 as he took a no-hitter into the last one. Oh, weird. Somebody with a hip issue after pitching over 130 pitches. Are you sensing a trend? All 3 guys who have thrown a no-hitter that I've talked about on this program today have been dinged up after the fact. 2 of them literally like from an injury perspective. Hip there, Michael Lorenzen. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Framber Valdez? If you want to win baseball games, if your goal is to win a World Series, go win a World Series. Don't do things that go against that. Like having guys pitch 130 pitches rant over. And our last game of the evening, we're heading to Dodger Stadium to round this all out. I'm just going to give you the play. Max Muncy's going to go yard. How does that sound? Would you like a Max Muncy home run at better than plus 250? I would too. Plays up for power. This Avia-Fit character, I think, is going to be giving up more and more power as we go along. And on the other side, who wants to be betting anything from San Diego here at the moment? The answer, not me, although they do get to have a matchup against Gavin Stone, 40.8% hard hit percentage, 532 expected slugging, just a 10.4% walk rate, so probably going to be a decent spot for some Padres bats. We'll take a look at the numbers, but Max Muncy, star highlighted. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below as I'm here in Oz right now. Caesar Sportsbook. Check them out as well. Only for 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But NFL Sunday. Nice to be able to get a couple of wins on the board there. It was Thursday night was not good. Thursday night was not good. Then again, I didn't know that Kadarius Toney had lost the ability to catch footballs. 4 drops. What are we doing, Kansas City? Sky more? Give me less of that. Anyway, Caesar Sportsbook for the NFL season. Going to be an awesome one. Down in the premium Discord, you can sign up for that below. A lot of happy customers. Maybe a couple of the happy customers could just say, hey, come hang out with us. And, Eric will be sarcastic a lot. I'm sarcastic a lot. If you like sarcasm, come kick it. Thank you, producer Jacob, for being back from Hawaii and vacationing and doing all of the things. Oh, I got to salute again. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Monday.